Hello everyone and welcome to Turkish Soap Opera. Today we will see some episodes full of twists and emotions that will keep you glued to the screen. Follow us as always until the end. Before starting, however, leave a nice like on Trust, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell so you don't miss all the next videos. Finally, leave a comment to share your emotions. Fekely, after being hit by a heart attack, is recovering but is still forced to hospital until he fully recovers because he has to stay under control and rest. Next to him is Mujgan's aunt, Behice, who doesn't leave him even for a second. So much so that Fekely, despite being grateful to her, in some moments feels embarrassed and oppressed due to her continuous presence. In the meantime, something happens at Villa Yaman that leads to a new clash between the Yamans and Fekely's family. There will in fact be a serious accident in which Yilmaz is involved. But let's see it in detail. Granny Hamine wakes up during the night and decides to go out, moving away from her home. Fadik should keep an eye on her, but since it's late in the evening, she doesn't notice. The weather isn't the best, outside there's a heavy rain and a storm, but the old woman doesn't take that into consideration. After Yilmaz visits his godfather Fekely in the hospital, he is on his way back but due to bad weather and incessant rain, he swerves his car and hits the poor granny who falls to the ground wounded and bleeding. The boy immediately gets out of the car and realizing the seriousness of the accident, he transports her without wasting time to the hospital, where she is treated and rescued from the danger of her life. Yilmaz himself will donate her blood, as the woman needed a transfusion. Text here: when Hunkar realizes his mother's absence, he immediately warns Demir who, without hesitation, mobilizes all the staff of the villa in search of Granny Hamine. Yilmaz is still in the hospital and finally warns the Yamans with a call. Zulia replies on the other side, who listens carefully to what happened from him. He appears very agitated even in admitting his responsibility for the case, clearly and without delay saying hit the old woman. Zulia therefore asks for information on Hamine's health conditions and, having received them, rushes to warn Hunkar and Demir about the incident. Meanwhile, Mujgan has overheard the conversation. Hunkar and Demir instead go without wasting time to the hospital, leaving Mujgan in their villa without giving us wait. Remaining there, she takes the opportunity to get explanations from Zulia about what happened to her and brazenly asks her why whenever something happens to her husband Yilmaz, she gets in the way. Obviously Zulia is speechless, because in this case Mujgan is really exaggerating, since she has no reason to be jealous, but the girl tells her that she only answered the call. Despite her answer, the young doctor claims that there is still a bond between her and Yilmaz and brings out her jealousy by accusing Zulia of not wanting to leave her husband. However, Zulia advises her to be treated because Mujgan really seems to be obsessed with her, so much so that he may need specialized help from her. Ignoring her, the doctor asks her again if they are still secretly seeing each other. Meanwhile, in the hospital, Hunkar takes the opportunity to visit his beloved Fekely, but Behice appears ready to accuse the matriarch of enjoying other people's misfortunes and taking pleasure in ruining other people's lives, claiming that Hunkar is part of the cause of the heart attack that struck Fekely and the threat of possible retaliation related to his actions. However, the matriarch decides not to answer, until Mujgan's aunt points out that she herself will give him due attention and care. Hunkar at this point replies and tells her if she can get it out of her head. In another context, we see that the PM is almost close to the truth about the author of Sengaver's assassination, namely that the real culprit is Hatip. The following day, he offers a large sum of money to a stranger, asking him to take the blame and go to prison in his place, so he can remain free without arousing suspicion, also assuring the stranger that his family will not feel pain. Meanwhile, Mujgan's aunt spends her afternoon with Sermin and tells her that she was angry with her because she didn't give her her vote so that she could hold the position of president of the association. But while they are arguing, Sermin reveals that he knows of a fact that concerns the Yaman and that could contribute to their ruin. So Sermin begins his story. Although Behice does not know the subject, Sermin tells her that the murder of Ercüment, Demir's cousin, has never been very clear, as whoever murdered him has never been discovered. but she claims that the author of the murder, both Demir and Sermin, say they are sure, because the man showed some interest in Zulia and the Yaman are trying to hide it. However, Behice does not seem to believe the woman's words, also because she does not consider the Yaman to be murderers. At the same time, we discover that Dr. Sabahattin is aware of what Sermin said and did to Jalid to try to break their relationship. However, Sabahattin doesn't have the slightest intention of giving up, so she decides to go to Jalid at the police station to clarify her position and tell her that what Sermin told her about her are just lies. In fact, he claims that he has never touched Sermin and that he has never exercised violence against her. He then adds that her daughter, Batul, is also happy for him and for her new life with Jalid. So Jalid believes in Sabahattin and, after having listened to her words in detail, she retraces her steps and decides to continue their journey together. Finally, Fekely comes out of the hospital and plans to clear some things up with Behice right away. In fact, he has no intention of having such an intrusive woman in her life and in that of her beloved Hunkar, and he takes the opportunity to make her understand that he is aware of what he intimated to Hunkar while they were in the hospital. He explains to her that Hunkar bears no responsibility for what happened to him and won't listen to any further accusations from her against her love. Once back home, Fekely decides to talk to Hunkar, and after talking on the phone, they meet. Ali Rahmat reveals that Mujgan's aunt knows some things that keep her and the Yaman family secret. So Fekely will do everything not to let their secrets leak, but despite this and despite the love he still feels for Hunkar, he can't overlook the mistakes made towards Yilmaz and Zulia, also claiming it's too late to ask remedy for such damages. Having informed the matriarch, Fekely and Hunkar say goodbye forever, thus ending their 40-year love affair. This video has also come to an end. If you liked it, like and leave a comment. Let us know what you think of these events. We will be happy to read your thoughts. If you haven't already done so, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, a small gesture of yours that helps us grow and give you more and more interesting and constant content. Also activate the notification bell to get alerts of new upcoming videos and stay updated on your favorite Turkish series and more. See you in the next video.